Hello and welcome to McAleer Stadium, here home of the Vikings of Eastern as Vineland 2-0 set to take on the Eastern Vikings. Vineland comes in with 2 shutout wins in a row, and taking a look at what this team's done with a freshman quarterback and some weird playing situations, at a park and then at a midget field. We're finally in a stadium. 2/3 of it's great. The weather is perfect. We've got a top row seat in the bleachers today. And Vineland and Eastern have played last year and the year before. A 20-19 win for Vineland, a 21-19 win the year before. And that was that famous, the official spotting the ball, Eastern short, then he moves the chain and moves the ball that went viral. But these two teams have battled neck and neck. One advantage for Vineland in this matchup is they've held Eastern's offense rushing the ball under 2 yards a carry in the 2 games. And they've done almost the same in passing, which is 4 yards per attempt. We're going to have our national anthem. I'll step aside for a moment. This is Rich Scarpa for VPS Vineland Football. So as we get ready for some football, it's also like to mention, starting out 2-0 is great, but for Coach Guzman in his second year as the head coach, Vineland is 6-2 in their last 8 games, and Coach Guzman has evened up his mark at 7-7. So in Coach Guzman's head coaching career, this could be the one that gets him over that 500 mark. But after 2 years with getting beat twice by a total of 3 points, Eastern's home, nice crowd over here. It's just a beautiful night for football. Take a look at some of the leaders for Vineland statistically, and we'll hit back and forth through this throughout the game. Let's just address our rushing attack as we're going to be getting the ball first. And last year, it was a ton of yards on the ground that we were just able to chew up, and that's where we made our money. But this year, there's a 3-headed backfield, and it's with junior Omar Davis, 16 carries, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaging 5.6. Charles Clark got a little bit of duty, 10 carries last week for 72 and a touchdown. Of course, that's over 7 yards a carry. And the freshman Carlton Thomas, 8 for 60 at 7.5. As a team, Vineland's rushed for 281 yards in 2 games with 3 touchdowns, and they're averaging 5.3 a carry. So the running game's been doing it. And there's actually a couple returners in on offense, as we'll have a new center tonight. But that line's been pretty interchangeable as they've just taken a little bit of time to get going offensively. So I'm sure all week it's been about starting fast, which Vineland hasn't. And it's a beautiful kick to get it underway. Diaz takes it back at the 5 to the 15, looking for a seam, and he's swallowed up at about the 18-yard line. That's where Vineland will take over with freshman quarterback Calderon. And he's done a lot of really smart things with the football. You know, just like when we watch the Eagles in Brazil, you know, the ground and the turf, it's fair for both teams, but it makes things a little bit different. And field conditions not great, especially for a quarterback that likes to roll out, have good vision, and deliver the football. So Calderon, 11 for 36 this year for 118, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. And on the other side, there's 4 interceptions for their quarterback, which we'll talk about when they get to the football. So it's Calderon in the shotgun with Clark behind him, trips to the bottom. The quick get to Clark, there's an opening on that right side, but it closes up quick. Clark had to go a little laterally to get that far out to the hole as the hole developed a little bit outside of where he wanted to go. So no gain on that one, maybe a loss of about a yard. Good size on the line for Eastern. But if things stay the same as the last 2 years, it's been an awful lot of two-way players. And it's been second half comebacks for Vineland to take over and take the lead. And we got a false start on the top of the screen. Calderon claps his hands to get everybody set. A little bit of a false start up on the top of the screen, so Vineland moving backwards. So they'll take it from the 12. And Eastern's 2 losses are to Kingsway and Ocean City, both very good playoff teams last year. So still second down, but second and about 16. Vineland gets it right back with the offsides. As Anthony Pryor, the junior defensive lineman, just tilts forward and crosses the line. So back to that 2nd and 11. Now Aiden Zinkoff at the 1 tackle spot. At the right guard today is going to be DeVal. Zach Davis at the center spot. Calderon to throw. He has time. He steps up, floats it deep. He has Mutcherson just a little overthrown. Great job providing time and an awesome job staying in the pocket and delivering that strike. But just over the top of Mutcherson, who had a few steps on his defender. Yeah, able to outrun the coverage. And it was a tall defender out there, Jaden Kersey. So 3rd and long. Eastern's yelling out screen, screen, screen as Vineland goes 2 receivers top, 2 receivers bottom. Charles Clark behind as he gets set. It's a fake to Clark. There's room for Calderon to run, but he's going to toss it complete to Mutcherson. Up at the 45. He's tackled forward down at the 48. Great job containing that outside. Long way to go for the first down, but what touch. As talked about pregame, he gets outside that pocket and able to just see what's going on and deliver a perfect strike. So Vineland picks up a 3rd and long on their first drive here with that completion. Mutcherson's fake punt last week, which kind of didn't make a first down until he continued to drive about 10 yards, carrying people to make sure he had it. Big play that brought the spark to Vineland. Let's hope this one can do the same. This time 3 receivers at the bottom. Inside backer's coming. He's picked up. floating it, and just between two receivers, right between Temple and Carter. It's nice to pick up that chunk. But it'd also be nice to be able to establish some type of run. In the past, it was big pass plays by Eastern. That kind of was the way they moved up the field. But so far, Mutcherson has taken the top off of the defense twice, so you know that's in your back pocket when you need it. So 2nd and 10. Omar Davis, the running back. It's a give to Davis over the right side. Talk about establishing the run. There's another handful of about 5. Yeah, watching on Guzman's Gridiron 2 weeks ago, it was to talk about Omar after that 2-touchdown game. And I remember Coach Guzman saying, you run north and south, and he certainly did it on that one. He's not a pleasant guy to tackle. 8:20 on the clock here. So 3rd and short. So after that 6-yard gain on 2nd down, maybe you get Calderon in a little bit of space here on the outside, see if you can, that line can contain on the inside. Now just one receiver to the bottom. That's Mutcherson, almost like you spread out the floor and have your one-on-one matchup. But here comes motion to bounce it back out. And there's the give to Otis again. He cuts back across the grain and tripped up from behind. Real good move. Nothing was there to come back. But then knowing down in distance, you got to plant your foot and get up the field. You're looking to get 4 yards, and it's really hard to go from one hash mark to the other. You're talking about 30 yards and people gaining angles on you. But a powerful run as he comes up a little gingerly. So this has been a little different. There's been an awful lot of passing on both sides in Vineland's games this year. And the clock has just churned real slow. But now we're already approaching halfway through this first quarter as Vineland's drive continues with a 4th and short. And Vineland's going to go for it. Just Clark alongside Calderon, line in a tight formation. Calderon's going to throw it. Pumps complete. Got to see where the mark is. Rayon Carter has it. It looks like he's going to have the 1st down. So another 4th down conversion. And that really shows a lot of confidence, Coach Hendricks and the offensive staff, in your freshman quarterback on 4th and 2. You know, not to just try to force it forward. We watch in the NFL, 4th and 1, you know, we have the brotherly shove. I like calling it that a little better, but the confidence in the freshman quarterback to flood that zone and get to a receiver. And, of course, in Carter to make the play. So new set of downs, 1st and 10, Fighting Clan. This time Carlton's in the backfield. Carlton Thomas, the freshman. And we have a false start up front on Vineland. The 2nd on this drive, but they've overcome the 1st. Carlton Thomas, as I mentioned, 8 for 60, so he's averaging 7.5. And they all complement each other in their running styles. The last 2 times with Eastern traveled and came to Vineland the last 2 years in a row for the consolation games, which was a little mini tournament where the winner advanced. So 1st and 15. Thomas stays in alongside Calderon. Calderon to throw again. He has his man complete. Nice move after the catch. Ducking inside is Xavion Diaz on the reception, and Calderon has come out really sharp. You know, and as that cohesiveness continues, you have that one play to Mutcherson, that the deep ball that went over Mutcherson. You know, your receivers are going down, they're making their move, they're looking for the ball. Soon when that timing's right and you're at a full sprint and you know Calderon's going to be able to get it there. You know, his arm's plenty strong, but the line has done a really good job early giving him time to not only make the right choice, but also step into his throws. So 2nd and 6. And he's going to toss it again. No pressure whatsoever. Bobbled and dropped by Ronnie Temple. Now, I was here a little early watching the pregame workout, and it was Temple and Carter just like sprinting back towards the quarterback or whoever was throwing the ball, warming up, and almost being at full speed, and just the hands and the creative catches. And this time one in the middle and just gets blocked. You know, in baseball, it's like, oh, did that go into the clouds? Did he get an obstructed view by the runner? Well, here there's tons of people in the front of you and just not able to make that completion at 4:26. A long drive for the Fighting Clan. And 3rd and 6. So here's a little pitch to Clark. He's got to cut back to the inside. He does, stays on his feet, and still squirting forward. What an outstanding run by Clark. You know, he started down, heads up, spins back inside, and he picks up a 1st down. You know, and it was Clark a couple years, well, his freshman year, you know, bouncing laterally. And now you just see he stays between like the tackle box on his stuff, knowing the down and distance. 1st and 10, Fighting Clan. It's another one to Clark. This time he's got it flat-footed, and I think he was face masked, but must not have been. No flag there, nothing going on. It's one of the few plays I thought the PA announcer had mentioned there was a flag on the field. It's right on the sideline where I can't see the ground, but it looks like there was not. So 2nd and 13. Vineland's controlled this ball from the opening kickoff and have possessed it for 9 minutes as Vineland will take a timeout here. When we take that timeout, we'll step away for a moment, and we'll be back with Vineland football with Vineland Fighting Clan on a drive into enemy territory. So 2nd and 13 after the timeout. And this has been a long one. Just like I was mentioning earlier, with a lot of guys going both ways for Eastern, that defense has been out on the field. And you say all the offense too, but the offense knows where they're going. It's a little bit easier to have the ball and be on the field for a long time. Clark back with Calderon. It's the fake. He's got a receiver deep. Flips it complete as Carter brings it in. And that's going to be 1st and goal. Yeah, and it's like and Vineland's hurrying to the ball, but it's kind of like all the off-season program with a 7-on-7 look to it as the field is spread. with the quintuplets. You know, you got 5 guys, similar skill, similar size, similar speed. But now 1st and goal at the 3, and Otis is in. Otis plows his way forward. He may have picked up 1 before he's brought back.
Omar Davis on the carry.
Omar, not bad.
Loss of 3 on the play, 2nd down and goal.
Let's go! Let's go!
Great design in the passing routes. Everyone spread out in a different area, stretching the defense. And then when you have that speed and agility, just moving at different angles, it's really tough to cover, especially if you're laying back in zone, because they have the speed to go from one zone to the other, and with the quarterback rolling out, you know, it just speeds all that up. So 2nd and goal at the 6. Mutcherson in motion, but it looked like the right side of the line got a little bit of a head start.
On the play. All start on the offense.
Talk about Vineland's had offensively a little bit of a slow start the first couple games. And this has been a very well executed drive with some high tension 4th downs, 3rd and longs in your own end, overcoming a couple penalties. And they've just been really sharp on this drive. It's really nice to cash it in and punch it in and get those 6 points on the board. So 3 more tries, 2nd and 11. Now what do we have? Another timeout, Vineland.
Timeout, Vineland. Their 2nd timeout of the half.
So haven't seen the defense, and the defense for the Fighting Clan is where it's been done all year long. Just outstanding numbers. 8 quarters of shutouts. I believe it was like 84 yards given up to St. Joe's in their first game. And 1 drive was for about 60. So I'd say maybe $120 in the 2nd game. So Vineland's yielding less than 100 yards a game. And that's the side of the ball that's really led for Vineland, with just 3 down linemen on defense. And all those same people I'm talking about at running back and wide receiver are all D-backs. And they can cover a ton of ground. So it's an attack at the edges and really is confusing for other offenses. And the defense has been stellar. So Davis is the running back. Calderon with a quick drop, a throw, and it's a little bit behind Temple.
Pass was incomplete. Ball was intended for number 2, Ryan Temple.
So 3rd and 11. Joe Morello warming up in the kicker's net. Depending on what happens on this one, Vineland may look to get on the board with a field goal here late in the 1st quarter. Calderon drops it on the ground, picks it up, stumbles, flips it, and just through the hands. It's a little bit of a bullet for Davis, setting up 4th and 11, and here comes the field goal team. So the drive stalls out after a 1st and goal, but Vineland takes it from their own 14 as deep as the 6-yard line. It is a little breezy, but the breeze appears to be pretty much right at the back of the offense. So Rupert with the kick. Gallo with the hold. And it is good. Vineland with their first field goal of the year as they take the lead after an outstanding drive. Man, you took the whole quarter off there. It's 11 minutes of a drive where we've not yet seen Eastern's offense. Marcelino, welcome.
You know what they say, sometimes you beat the traffic, sometimes the traffic beats you. I think I was on the bad end of the traffic beating me this time.
I know that happened last time we were coming up to Pennsauken. Everybody's hitting traffic. You know what I did? I took the back way. Welcome to the broadcast. So,
thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. Way to go. I was listening the whole way here. I'm like, okay, I don't think he needs much of me.
hey, you know what? I blew through all my notes on an 11-minute drive. You know, I had nothing left in the tank when I saw you walking up. I'm like, oh, welcome. Of course, still involved helping out, but last year's special teams coordinator, and it's kind of different when you're up here. The nice thing for me is after years of coaching and decades of not, the game film, being able to see it and see what you're getting into. So this is like the good part, just like we're sitting on our couch.
Yes,
no worries, no hurries.
I see why a lot of people coach from the booth. It's a lot different, a lot different of a view here. But man, what a beautiful night for football. This ball's going to get kicked off over to the left here, as Vaughn's going to look to converge on the left side, breaking a couple tackles, but being taken down at around the 27-yard line. And Eastern's going to set up shop right here. And man, I can't even say how excited I am to watch this Vineland team this year. It's been such a shift from last year. The big difference was these drives. Just seeing that entire first drive, you do want to see a touchdown at the end of it, but to get downfield, use your playbook, open it up a little bit, and use your newly fresh quarterback, Kyle Durant, who I'm high on right now. I absolutely love the kid. Being able to lead a drive, lead a team that far, you're going to see that success throughout this game. Eastern's going to have to make some decisions early to try and shut down that offense as they set up shop here. To be a run up the middle. Good tackle there by the Fighting Clan. Clipped him right at the hip.
So it's Max Cutler. He's their lead back, and it's not going really well for the running game. In their other games this year, under 2 yards per rush they're getting. But, I mean, they played some good competition.
Setting up shop here. Beautiful run to the right side. Almost stuffed up, but getting a couple yardage. 2 missed tackles. Almost like 2 Vineland defenders tackled each other after pushing for about a gainage of 3.
Yeah, it's only when you have a really much smaller back than you're used to at 5'7" and listed at 160. You know, being smaller doesn't make anything negative except for the defense, who sometimes has a hard time finding you.
And again, this is a very stout defense, as that's going to bring an end to the first quarter. A drive to end a quarter, I mean, Rich, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, I've got decades in this, and I don't know when we've almost ran out a whole quarter without giving the ball back to anybody. So, I mean, and there was some great conversions. Hope I did them a little bit of justice, because I know you weren't looking while you're driving, just listening.
I mean, that beautiful third down conversion to Mutcherson on the left sideline, I'm telling you, it was beautiful. It's all about creating opportunities for the Fighting Clan, and that's what it's been early on. It's creating opportunities in rough situations to see how your offense is going to respond, and the play calling that's going to respond to the situation has been looming huge so far in this season, and that's what's creating drives like that and giving Vine an early 3-0 lead. And in my opinion, with the defense that we have this year, 3-0 may be all we need. But I'm sure the Vineland offense isn't done scoring yet.
Well, if you played a traditional defense, you'd say, oh, Vineland needs help here. But it's the creativity. Like, what other team has 7, on average, 5'9", 165-pound guys that can run a 4.5 and are athletic? It's like they're all related.
Run's going to be stuffed up in the middle by that front line. First name coming up, Noah Cruz, flying downhill. Again, this Vineland has a strong defensive front headed by Donnie St. Jean, Everton Donaldson, as well as Elaine Soman. It's a tough group, a great disciplined defense, and a D-line ready to make some waves this season. And that looks to be a false start on Eastern. That's going to back them up 5, and that's not something you want to start your drive with if you're facing this Vineland defense.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you got your first down, but it's good. You're getting 4, you're getting 3, you're getting 4. And for quite a long time, it would be 1 penalty against us, even a 5-yarder, just put us out of down and distance. You know, and it affects a team that really doesn't have big pop in it, big pop plays.
Fake to Ruba, throwing to the left side, caught on the far sideline. Tackle made, bowling over a defender. And the too small sign already getting some chippiness out of Eastern early. Getting the offense rolling as that pass was received on the far sideline by Vincent Rosa, the junior, at 5'11", 160 on the outside for the Vikings.
And it's Noah Cruz. 2 years in a row, he's led the team in tackles versus Eastern.
And it's something we're going to get used to very often. As Eastern gets set here, 1 receiver to the right side, running back offset. Handoff's going to be to Ruba to the right side. And tackled right then and there. Beautiful play by the Fighting Clan. Mark Mutcherson coming downhill. The sneaky safety that always finds a way to get downhill.
Yeah, he got up the field early on the offense and then back to, and just really has a great nose for the ball, great eye for the flow of it, and the ability to close. You know, we saw flashes from Mutcherson and the rest of this crew from when they were freshmen. And I'm always like, oh, that's sophomore class. Oh, that junior class.
And they just kept getting better. Dawson's going to roll out to his right, throws right, tipped in the air, and intercepted! Noah Cruz on the near sideline. The ball was tipped in the air. He made a play on the sideline. Vineland will get the turnover and go the other way.
Well, and what happens if you don't get your hands up? It may have been a first down the other way if it's complete. And just getting your hands up, tip it up front, and then you have all that speed that can come up and make a play to stop that drive.
Beautiful play by the ball hawk, Noah Cruz, flying towards the sideline. The good thing about Vineland is they're always find a way to converge where the ball's going. They always have a nose for where the play may go. There were at least 3 Vineland defenders there that could have made that play. Noah Cruz on the receiving end of that and giving Vineland a great offensive opportunity in Vikings territory. Calderon set up, 2 receivers set to each side. Motion to the right side. Calderon's going to drop back. Look right, look downfield. He's going deep, has a man wide open, and it is caught! A great play by Calderon. He just underthrew Xavion Diaz by a little bit. Vikings trying to call it incomplete, but it's not their call, it's the Stripes call, and they say it is a completion down to the Vikings 15-yard line.
So Diaz stops in his tracks, comes back to the ball, lays out on his belly with his arms underneath it to haul it in. And outstanding as it's been, he has time to throw. He's not even shaking the first guy. He's not rolling away from pressure, all designed, and an outstanding job by this line. You know, and the line was a question mark coming into the season, graduating 5 starters off of it.
Calderon getting set up here, 2 receivers to his left. Set the running back offset to his right. Finally looking to get the ball moving here. There's going to be a blitz up the middle, handoff, almost bobbled there. Somehow getting a couple yards off of that play does Ronald Temple. And that'll make it a 2nd and manageable.
It's that circle, that's that spin move, because that would have been a loss of about 2 or 3 on the play.
Vineland with a much quicker offensive line this year. Something that was exciting, like you said, having a bigger all-senior line last year, transitioning into what was the JV class, moving up to varsity, who are not as big but are quicker on their feet almost, and it kind of gives you more opportunity in passing situations because they can get moving, they can get in their pass sets, and it's been looming such as a strong suit for the Fighting Clan early on. It's going to be a 2nd and 8 here. Calderon getting set, claps, move the running back up to his left side. 2 receiver sets to his right. Diaz in motion, snap back to Calderon, looking to his left. Screen pass, just a little low. Looked like he might have skipped it, and he did, as a little bit of a late pop there by the Vikings. Calderon skipping it out to Diaz on the near side.
Caden Chestnut out there involved on that also. So another 3rd down. on this drive. Vineland in field goal range is obvious because they're only a yard deeper than the last one.
Yes.
This time into a little bit of a breeze, but I believe we're 3 of 5 on 3rd down, 1 for 1 on 4th down.
The conversions you need the most. Vineland's finding a way to make those conversions happen, and that's huge.
Well, just like you're talking about that line, I've always thought bigger isn't better, and it's nice to see. I always said take your inside backers and they play guard. You know, 200 pounds is plenty, and even less is okay.
Calderon motions Diaz.
Get set, get set.
False start here on the Fighting Clan. Looked like they couldn't get their communication going there. Diaz went in motion. And looked to be Charles Clark who stepped up a little bit on that play, and that'll back up the Vineland offense 5.
That's something you can work on too, that, you know, if they're both going, keep going, one of you reset, take your time. But now it makes it a little more precarious to have 5 yards off of that play. You at least want to pick them up if you're going to be stuck with a field goal attempt. The wind is blowing in the face of Vineland offensively here now in the 2nd quarter.
Last time Vineland did go off sides, they went to the hard count and got the 5 yards right back on that first drive. Look to see if they'll try and do much of the same here on their 2nd. 3rd and long here in Vikings territory, about the 18, 17-yard line. Calderon gets set, trip set to his left, one receiver to his right. Charles Clark sets up offset to his right. Raises his leg, Noah Cruz goes in motion. It could be a flag on the play.
On the field once again.
That a little twitch up on the line.
I believe it calls a legal formation.
All right, so now back to the 21.
Now it's a 3rd and very long, Rich. Ball spotted at just about the 23-yard line. Vineland still, of course, in field goal range, but would like to get some points here after setting up shop inside of the Vikings' 50-yard line.
And this is about where they tried one last week. This would be, if it stays there, from the 29 for a 39-yard field goal. Last time it was a 40-yarder last week. That was attempted, but hey, we got another down to get this done.
As they do 3rd and long here, 2 receivers set to the left. Calderon motions Diaz over. Takes the snap, looks right, has time, throws it deep, has an open receiver, but it is picked off into the middle of the field. Vikings going the other way. It was a great read there as the tackle's made at the 19-yard line. Calderon thought he had all day.
And a flag hits the field at the end of that.
There is a flag on the field.
So a pick and a pick back. That one, that wind we're talking about, kind of held up the lob pass to try to get over the defender's head.
It was Vincent Rosa who got the pick, but it's going to be a block in the back on the Vikings. That'll back them up deep into their territory. Which is going to give Vineland's defense some room to work with as well as the offense gets back off the field. Calderon had great intentions on the pass. It was just like you said, the ball caught wind and kind of stuck in the air a little bit. As they're going to move the ball down to about the 9.5-yard line of the Vikings.
Well, that first drive, it was the running back Morrow just finding little cracks and seams, and they got a couple first downs on it. As I mentioned, at quarterback, Dawson, I mean, he's got 4 picks on the year and not a lot of good things, but he is a very good quarterback, about 6'3", sees over the line, good mobility, but just hasn't got his timing yet.
Handoff up the middle here for the Vikings for a solid gain of about 5 there. Jaden Kersey on the carry, making it a 2nd and 4 here for the Vikings.
Well, nose tackle Donaldson, double team, dives down, gets the leg, just not able to get that fill by the backers, so he trips forward and picks up an extra 3 yards on it.
Again, the Vikings set up deep in their own territory. Dawson in the shotgun. Takes a snap, a little bit of movement from the running back there, but no call made. He's going to make a run right up the middle, and he's going to get some moderate yardage here. Tackle made by Mason Afanador, but an easy first down there for the Vikings, down to their own 28-yard line.
Well, what happened there was Vineland sends the inside backer, and it kind of takes him out of the play as they run back underneath. It's kind of what you tell your D lineman. Heel deep back there. When you're blitzing, we still got to keep the ball in front of us and close down some angles.
Snapback once again, handoff to the right side, and a good tackle there by Ronald Temple on the near side. It was a one-on-one, great blocking there by the Vikings, kind of seal off the D line, but Temple there to make the tackle and make it a short gain, but nonetheless still 2nd and 7.
Well, Eastern in a little bit of a hurry, not going full huddle, a little muddle, and right up on the line fairly quickly on this drive.
Dawson with 2 receivers set off to his left, takes the snap. Going to hand off up the middle once again, but stuffed up there by Noah Cruz. First man there once again. As it almost looks like Barrientos ripped the ball out there, but the whistle was blown. Forward progress was stopped. A short gain there.
So Barriento down in on there, but it was Gallo. They moved him from the middle, put him up top. He's on a stunt, pushes it up the field just like a step sooner, a step slower from the back, and he makes that in the backfield, but followed it up. A little Malachi crunch at the end for those of you old enough to know what that means.
How about Gage Gallo playing linebacker for the Fighting Clan? Dawson looking to his left, looking underneath, has an open receiver, gets it to him. And
Get that ball, they got it.
Ball's out! Vineland may have it. Waiting for the signal. It is Vineland ball! Way to create a turnover for the Fighting Clan. Their 2nd turnover in 2 drives. Once again, inside Viking territory. Time for the offense to take over.
Well, just outstanding. It's not like, oh, you tackle him with your hat on the ball. It's not like, oh, he bobbled it, switching arms. He just ripped that thing out of there. And guess what? Like you talked about how they swarm to the football, then you have people there. As one of the linemen falls on it for Eastern, it squirts out. And Vineland back in a little better field position, I think by about 6 or 7 yards than that last drive, as we're halfway through the 2nd quarter.
Vineland setting up shop once again inside Eastern territory, 35-yard line. Calderon, 2 receivers set to each side. Raises his leg, waits for the snap, gets the snap. Ball fumbled in the backfield. He's going to just fall right on top of it. As he just dropped that one, didn't look to be too low or anywhere. It just looked like Calderon just dropped it.
Yeah, you know what, that timing of it, you're looking and you're seeing what the defense has. You're getting, and somebody moves. It's kind of like if you're sitting on your couch and you see, what the heck was that? You know, and you just take your eye up for a second. So you got to kind of get locked in and stop that vision before you call for it, but it's hard.
Everybody talks about wide receivers not looking the ball in. It's the same for quarterbacks. You line up in the pistol, line up in the shotgun, have to see the ball into your hands to create the play to begin with.
And when people press or move, when you're on cadence, when you're ready to go and not just surveying, I mean, we see that happen all over.
Vineland lining up quick to the ball here. Same setup here. Temple's going to line up and make it a trips to Calderon's left. Clark steps up to his offset right. Motion here for Clark. He's going to take the snap. I believe that's going to be an illegal formation on the Fighting Clan.
Yeah, you got to watch. That motion has to be flat or backwards. And that was like a curl like we're playing in
Arena
Canadian
football.
or arena, yeah, where you can get that full sprint up to the line. Yeah, it's got to be flat or it's got to be back. You know, the whole idea is if somebody's back 6 yards in motion and turns up and heads up, I mean, you're almost at full speed on a flat-footed defender. That's why in regular old football, we can't do that.
Looks like there's going to be a timeout on the field here. Once again, we thank you for joining us here on the Vineland Public Schools broadcast. My partner, Rich, and myself, and our amazing producer, Doug Diola, bringing you all Vineland High School action and all of your district needs here on the Vineland Public broadcast. Whenever you get the chance, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell to get some notifications, and you can see all things Vineland athletics as well as district meetings. Once again, all here on the Vineland Public Schools broadcast.
And we got a list of our crew tonight on graphics. It's William Malat, cameras, Genevieve Carter. Also on cameras, Kiera Landicini and Artson Mizuki, and Scope Graphics, Madison Bowers.
Beautiful shout out for those helping us here, bringing this all the action to you guys at home as Vineland gets set up here once again. Trips to the left side for Calderon. Charles Clark sets up to his right side. Calderon's going to take the snap, look to his left, pump fake, step up, and the pocket just collapses. Calderon tried to get the pass in quick, but the receiver wasn't open, and the pocket collapsed just like that. Eastern gets their first sack of the game, as Vineland's going to be set up 3rd and about a country mile at the 46-yard line.
Aiden Travellini gets in there on the stop from his defensive end / tackle area. So this drive not going Vineland's way as they started at the 36. Now they've lost 10 back to the 46, still in plus territory on this 3rd and long.
Vineland looking for a big conversion here as 2 receivers set to each side. 3 down linemen for the Viking defense. Snap back to Calderon. He's going to look to his right, look downfield, look in the middle field. Has an open receiver, but picked off once again. Thrown into double coverage, and another interception for Vincent Rosa of the Viking as flags are thrown on the play once again.
Not sure if there was enough of a return to get a penalty on Eastern, but I didn't see anybody hit him up high. Let's hold out hope it could have been a pass interference, but I didn't see that either as he had position on him. Okay, Faceman must have missed it on the other side as he came across.
So it was Calderon looking for Rayon Carter in the middle of the field. A tough play to float it into the middle of the field with 2 high safeties. Once again picked off by the Vikings, and that's Vincent Rosa's 2nd interception of the game on very similar pass attempts from Calderon.
You didn't see anything float in the first quarter because that wind was at his back, and that's just a simple adjustment. Calderon's ball usually has nose down on it unless he's going deep, which would cut it, but it's just those deep balls are getting hung up in the air a little bit. Going this way.
Vikings setting up on their own 30 motion here. Handoff to the interception man, as that's going to be kept by the quarterback. He's going to get a modest gain of about 5.
So clock starts to become a factor. Even though Eastern has all their timeouts, we're under 4 minutes. And for those of you that have played midget football, you know that's when they tell you 4-minute warning. You don't get it 2 because you're running out of time to get stuff done.
2 receivers set on each side here for the Vikings. Vineland looking to bring some pressure up the gut, thrown short to the left side, just about a screen pass. That's going to be good swarm tackling there by the Fighting Clan, making it a 3rd and short for the Vikings.
Well, there are some teams that could do that and get yards against Vineland's defense, but there's not a lot of them. You know, our advantage are the guys that don't have their hand in the ground. And ones that have their hand in the ground are fine and they do their job, but just the coverage ability, the experience in there, and the open field tackling. I don't know if it's something I go to that often.
Dawson is shotgun here, 3 receivers to his right. He's going to look that way, pull it down, run to his left side, has green grass, and he will get to the sideline and escorted out of bounds by the Fighting Clan. It was Saquon Anderson. I believe a flag was thrown.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was giving you first down on that one. My bad.
No flag there, and it will be a first down, though, for Eastern.
That's that booth sign language in our first time together.
We're learning together.
So, like, the flag one goes this way, and the first down I cut this way, but with the same hand motion.
I like it. I could pick up on it. Vikings here setting up once again inside their own 40-yard line. Handoff on the sweep here, looking to pass. Wide open receiver down the sideline. He is hit in stride. Oh! He dropped the ball. He had nothing but green grass. He would have easily walked in for a touchdown, but dropped along the sideline. Vikings are not able to capitalize.
Hardest ones are when you're all alone.
All day to throw. Had a wide open receiver. Everyone beat on the defense. And just like we spoke earlier about Calderon seeing the ball in, not being able to see the ball in is the Vikings here, and that blows an opportunity to take the lead here. 3 receivers set to the right side, 1 to the left. He's going to look to his right, throw underneath to the running back out of the backfield. Tackle made right there by Temple. Beautiful tackle, bringing down Max Cutler.
So 3rd and about 5 coming up. We're down to 2:30.
Vineland's still up 3-0.
When you're old and you're a coach and you have this advantage, It's like you saw halfback pass all over it. Once he took the handoff, he starts bellying backwards, but you can't see that out on the field.
Yeah, you can only see that he's going one way. Vikings, Barrientos gets into the backfield, thrown high, tipped into the air, and intercepted once again. A beautiful play, but they're going to call it incomplete.
Oh, I thought he had that. Well, talk about your tip drill when you're warming up. That's all that was, as Mutcherson tips it up in the air, and I really thought we had the interception on that one.
Mason Afanador just there. The ball barely gained. It looked good from here, I will admit. It looked like an interception from here, but of course, our vantage point is only as good as those on the field. Incomplete is the call.
I'm going to have to mark this time of the game because this is the first place I'm going to get to, and then I'll rewatch this baby. After 2:06, it is 4th down, and they're going for it.
Vikings trying to create a spark here in this second quarter with 2 minutes left to go to half. There'll be a timeout called here by the Vikings.
Well, not what the Vineland, I see a lot of times I know the who's, I just don't say the who's. Not what some of the people on that Vineland defense want to have is a conversation with Cliff right now. Yeah, we've talked, and the thing is they're so good at coverage. And when I say that, that's one of our best assets. I'm not saying they're the greatest cover team in South Jersey or anything like that. I'm saying that is where we shine, where we're good at. So when you lock people up one-on-one and somebody bites without a safety over top, it's like, ugh.
When you have such athletes that can go one-on-one on the outside, like you said, those opportunities are created if you can get a simple fake. But it did not pan out for the Vikings. I'm sure they will go back to that well sometime later in this game as Dawson gets set up here. Vineland's defense scrambling a little bit. It's going to be 2 receivers set to the right side, a tight end on the left with 1 receiver on the far side of the field.
Come on, St. Jean, let's make it your turn here.
Dawson looks back, throws to his right side, has a receiver open, but just overthrows him there. It was number 5, Vincent Rosa again, who gets overthrown.
But we have a flag down, I believe it's on Eastern. I saw him first look that way. Now we're going to talk to, there we go. So Vineland's football foul was on Eastern. Vineland's getting a little bit of a push from that far edge on the pass plays, but just like on film, the quarterback does a good job stepping up into the pocket, and it has that wash go by him, and it's really hard to cut it that tight. So Vineland gets another shot to add to this 3-0 lead with 2 minutes.
Again, like we said, this Vineland defense so strong and stout. They make those opportunities to win games like this. But you still would like to see the offense put up points and kind of back their defense just in case, worst case scenarios here.
Yeah, it's always like, get me up 2 scores, then I can take a breath.
Yep. 2 receivers set to each side for Calderon. Charles Clark offset in the backfield. He's going to step up once again. Only 5 down linemen. Snap back to Calderon. He's looking to his left, back to his right. Open in the middle of the field, and it is intercepted. His 3rd interception of the day. And that one wasn't a pretty one, Rich.
No, right into traffic there. And I kind of like going this way, say Mutcherson, Diaz, Afanador, whoever. Go on a fly and let's see if he can throw it over your head. You know, just get it down there, going into the middle and all that drop back zone traffic. You know, that's a real small window, especially on a 1st down. That's more of a 3rd with time on the clock or a 4th if you need it.
You can tell the Vikings' big theme on defense, take away the first option of Calderon, make him think. Again, he's a good quarterback, but he's also still a freshman. They're making him go through his progressions and kind of making him play at that varsity level so far early on. Snap back to Dawson with trips to his left, throws in the middle of the field. Almost intercepted right through the hands of Diaz, and it should have been picked.
Wow, just back and forth with this ball in the air, heading to the wrong spots. But I do, again, the wind is a factor. It'll gust and then lay down. You know, going with the wind and being a little bit off with your timing bodes well for Vineland, especially we get in the second half in that 4th quarter when they're throwing into it. It's going to keep them on the ground. And on the ground, they had success early, about 4 a pop, and now with the time, they're going to abandon it. But for most of the plays, but they've kind of abandoned that run. They may want to hit one here and take some time off the clock so Vineland don't get it back. It looked like a little false start on the far side of the field, so that'll push them back.
Dominic Harris on the short side of the trip set, who jumped off Barriento, the first one to tell him, hey, bud, you were offside. That's going to back up the Vikings, making it a 2nd and 15 with 1:46 to go here in the second quarter. It was a pick by Calderon to set up this offensive possession. Vineland almost stealing the ball right back on a Xavier Diaz interception, but it was just dropped. But nonetheless, 2nd and 15 for the Vikings. Trip set up to the left side. And if you're Vineland here, you have to look to create turnover opportunities. Like you said, they're a good coverage team. This is the opportunity to do that. Dropping back is Dawson. Short pass to his right side. Oh, stays in bounds, looking to go out. Kept in, runs over 2 defenders. That'll keep the clock running.
Well, remember how awesome it was when they stood him up and they ripped the ball out? Time, down, and distance made sense. On that one, we're ball tackling. We're giving up 5 or 6 yards after. We don't want the ball right now. It'd be nice to have it, but we got to make tackles where they are and keep that progression from going forward. Back to pass. Under pressure, turns, spins out of it, makes another one, misses them, flips it forward. So it's probably going to be an incompletion, if not a sack, as he flips it forward. It is a forward pass. Most likely they're going to call it incomplete, which I guess technically he threw it forward. Heads up play.
It was the man you were looking for early on. It was Donnie St. Jean, first one back there, just shaken off by the quarterback, Logan Dawson. Barriento right there to try and clean it up, as it almost looked like he was down, but just got out of his hands.
Been a loss of 20 with the clock rolling, but that's that senior quarterback that's been through a lot. And, yeah, and when that senior quarterback with that knowledge, if he plays next year in college, he's going to be a freshman again without enough knowledge.
Exactly.
It's not a knock on being young. You just have to be in it.
Dawson getting set up here, setting a receiver in motion. Low snap. He's looking to his left, back to the middle of the field, going to roll out to his right.
Come on.
And he's going to go down just before we were saying he didn't take the sack. This time around he does. It is about a loss of 3, and that'll make it 3rd and long with the clock running. But now Eastern calling the timeout.
73, I have Zach Davis. I believe it's his first game back this year, playing center and then getting in on some D-line. On that play, he gets up the field, turns back in under it, and held so much. And you know what? You get held and you don't get a call. Coach will tell you, you got to show the hold. You got to press. You can't just give in to the hold. Well, he pressed it off, almost had his shirt pop his shoulder pads out, and they decided not to call it.
I'll tell you what, Zach Davis was a pleasure to coach last year in JV. He's just one of those guys who just puts his head down. He's like, I'm going to go to work. Coach, what do you need me to do? I'm going to do it. He's constant high action, constant high octane. And it's good to see him back and healthy, getting his reps on offense and on defense.
Yeah, we thought last week may have been the debut. But what happens is when the guys in there are doing the job and playing well, and you have your perceived or your starter coming back, it's easier to keep them out a little bit longer and make sure everything's tip-top. Kind of similar with Clark. You know, he was okay for week 2, but then when the game was still tight late, you know, it's, as on Guzman's gridiron, you heard, you know, his pitch count went up instead of being locked into it. 2nd and 13.
Dawson sets a man in motion to the left. Gonna fake the handoff. Look deep to his left. He's going to throw it right over the top, and it is caught. It was overplayed by Mason Afanador, and he is going to score with 55 seconds on the clock. The name we've called so often, Vincent Rosa, the junior, puts the Vikings up late in the second quarter.
3 big plays by Rosa, and that goes right back into earlier trying to strip the ball out, down in distance and time. Down distance on and time in there, you got to make a decision to defend, not offend, and not try to get on the offense there.
It looked like Afanador had that ball played perfectly, and it kind of looked like he got up with a little bit of limp. I'm not sure what that was, but it looked like he had a clear play on the ball and just couldn't get to it. Snap back for the kick is up, and it is no good.
So it'll keep it out of field goal, but like that situation, he picks it, he's gone, I'm right with you. If there was 10 minutes left in this first half, all right. You know, but with that short of time and you're at a third and really long, even if I give up the first down, maybe I hang back and just deliver a shot to knock that one out, because he was at a full sprint. And it's kind of like in baseball, you overrun it and all of a sudden you're trying to reach back.
You've seen it so many times. And again, baseball is a perfect example. Fly ball, deep center field, you're going full speed and you're like, oh wait, I might be overplaying this, and you see him slip and it goes right over top. In football, we don't have the luxury of just a ball flying over top. There's a receiver there waiting for that ball, and in this case, for a touchdown.
Especially in a baseball game, especially when they lay out for it and then their elbows bent back near their chest because they got too far. Hey, but aggressive plays will pay off. There's one thing about Vineland, you know, something happens, somebody's got to pick it up, and it's usually the same people.
Too many opportunities Vineland has given up to the Vikings to have the ball late in this game. It's been 3 consecutive interceptions on 3 consecutive drives for the Fighting Clan. Vikings finally making the Fighting Clan pay for it. It's going to be lining up for kickoff here with only 54.5 to go. Can only imagine what the Vineland offense is looking to cook up here. It is Jalen Milavoy kicking off here for the Vikings. He tees off, and that's going way back into the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and Vineland will get ready to set up shop.
Well, if you can do that, you take away what Vineland else brings to the table. No matter who's back there, whether it's Mudge, whether it's Diaz, Carter, whoever you want to have back there. You know, Anderson, of course, is our leader in the punt return game.
Vineland here with not much time left in the second quarter. Rich, what do you think Vineland's going to try and go to here with such short time on 3 back-to-back bad possessions?
From Coach Russo to Coach Guzman, I did this all last year. All right, let's just get in the half down 3. And then they end up doing something and scoring, and I've ate my words like the last 3 times.
Well, let's see if the 4th time is the charm here. 2 receivers set to each side for Calderon as Clark prepares to go offset to his right side. Calderon checks everybody down. He's going to put Diaz in motion. Takes a snap. Looks to his left. He's going to throw to his left. He's going to throw it deep back shoulder. Puts way out of bounds. That'll make it 2nd and 10 with 49 seconds on the clock.
Rayon Carter, that brings up 2nd down.
All right, boys. Let's see what we have a little creative there. It's a not double coverage, but he had coverage on the inside, coverage over the top, miscommunication on that. He did have a little back shoulder comeback, but
Calderon once again going for that first option on that play. Didn't really look too much far right. It kind of had that pre-snap thought that I'm going to throw to Carter here. That kind of seems to be what the Vikings are trying to pick up on here. Calderon gets set once again. He's going to bring Temple in motion. He's going to look to his right. He's going to throw that way. Takes a big hit and somehow gets the ball to Diaz as Calderon is down and he is hurt.
That's what you call a perfectly defended pass. Perfect because the arms tucked inside his elbow. No pass interference, so that meant it was timed beautifully. Not only to be there to break it up, but to pull the hands apart.
Calderon's going to go down on the Vineland sideline right about the 20-yard line. Hope everything's okay with him. He's been spectacular this year. Again, a rough night so far. But you never want to see anything like that for a young QB early on in the season.
So it'll be Antoine Witt coming in, the junior.
You're kind of put in a rough situation here on a 3rd and 10 on your own 20.
Well, back in the olden days, it'd be belly, belly, belly. But right here we could say dive, dive, dive.
So we have this quick break in action here. Once again, we thank you for joining us here on the Vineland Public Schools broadcast with myself, Mr. Rich, and our good friend who's not here tonight. We always give him a shout out, Kyle KB Bennett.
He big-timed us.
Yes, he did. He big-timed us. And I'm sure we'll hear about that by the end of the broadcast. But again, another one of our great partners as Calderon's going to walk to the trainer's tent here. But another one of our great partners who help make these things happen, these broadcasts happen. And again, our amazing producer, Doug Diola, and Gia Mazur back at the big district office. Everybody saying out a huge thanks to them for making all this happen. And again, thanking all the viewers for tuning in with us here. 3rd and 10, 44.6 to go on the clock here in the second quarter, as Antoine Witt is now in the game for the hurt Elijah Calderon. 3 receiver set to the left. Witt's going to roll out to his left. He's going to square his shoulders, and he's going to take a big sack here, and that is not what you want if you are the Fighting Clan.
Look, he stayed in bounds, so it looks like Eastern's going to call their last timeout with 37 seconds left. Vineland will be punting it away.
And you can only assume with a punt looming here, the Vikings will have pretty decent field position, but with not a lot of time left, with 37.8 on the clock before the snap.
Guts for Vineland. You bring in a cold quarterback, and instead of just a dive to Clark,
you roll him out to his opposite arm side.
With no protection out there with him. The only protection was Clark, who had to seal up on the inside and then try to pop out for a little dump over the head. But
I almost got confused. I was like, is Witt a lefty? But they rolled him out to his weak side, tried to square his shoulders, and was met in the backfield almost instantly.
So Mutcherson, don't fake this one no matter what they do, and let's get your foot on it and get it near midfield. He's punted very well this year.
Snap back is clean, has pressure. It's going to kick it high. Stay in Vineland territory. Poison call. It's going to take a bad spin, a Viking hop, and they will be set up in beautiful territory at the Vineland 30-yard line.
I'm going to have to ask AI to draw a Viking hop. That would be fun. I don't know if I've ever seen
a Viking hop. I'm sure if they did a Viking hop on one of those big wooden boats, someone may go through the floor.
I was so much happier around 2 minutes to go when we had the football, but you know, as a grown man that has coached forever, broadcast forever, played when I was young enough to, it's still, you get that little pit in your stomach, and we're trying to get 14 to 18-year-olds to respond, and I'm kind of feeling, oh, man.
It's tough, especially the defense back out there once again. It's going to be 1st and 10, 29.6 to go. It's going to be a hand up the middle, and it's going to be a good gain there as time continues to run. Tackle made there by Temple, but not after a 5-yard gain. Looks like the Vikings are going to play this almost into halftime, but looks like they're going to spike here. Time dwindling down here. Might be setting up for a field goal.
Yeah, kicker has a strong leg, as we noticed on the kickoff going into the end zone, but pregame, from about 45, he was getting them there. Unfortunately, that wind I've been talking about all night has kind of said they've had enough for today. They're packing it in.
The wind is gone.
Yeah.
So both quarterbacks not having to worry about that, hopefully much in the second half. But for all we know, that wind may just come back. It's going to be a setup here for a field goal. I believe it's about a 35-yard attempt here.
44.
44.
You got to add that 10 in the back end. Don't forget that. He's kicking from the 34.
And Lavoie lines up. It's a fake. It was a bad snap. He's going to spike it into the ground. But it was 3rd down. So that will give them an opportunity to re-kick the field goal. But I believe there's going to be an intentional grounding.
There is a flag. And it looks like his hand was going up and down. I thought he was counting.
That will back up the field goal attempt here. It'll be 3rd down and 4 with 4 seconds to go here.
Ball on the field is intentional grounding.
So they'll probably bring the offense or the punt team back in, because the ball's made ready for play.
That'll also down, brings up 4th down.
Where are we going to be? At the 41. So that's 47, 57.
Didn't expect him to. Coach is going to bring the field goal unit back, but he's going to send them back out. But all the kickers and special teamers will go to the sideline as the offense get ready to set up shop here.
I'd have been sitting in a base with an extra guy deep. You know, there's no way they're going to kick that. Wouldn't kick that in the NFL.
Trips to the right here. Dawson's going to drop back. They're going to look for a deep ball here. Dawson steps up. He's going to unload here. Back right corner of the end zone, and it is incomplete. It was defended by a Viking receiver. Two receivers had the opportunity to make the play, but nothing coming up there for the Vikings as we head to halftime with a measly score of Vikings 6, Vineland High School 3.
Well, that first drive, tremendous, you know, and big conversions. But then as one team, Eastern, played a little loose with the football and got picked off, we were playing a little bit loose with it also. And just that difference of our field goal versus them being able to pop it in. But I hope that defense will regroup, and we're going to step aside for this halftime break, and we'll be back for second half of Friday night football here from McAleer Stadium at Eastern High School.
Soccer, and Emmanuel Hernandez. Student leadership this year includes drum major Madeline Siri, guard captain Abby Appello, guard sergeants Angelina Lubo and Bella Curtis, brass sergeants Max Straub and Ashley Stans, woodwind sergeants Day Yi and Alyssa Wongsa, battery sergeants Brady Gallagher and Royce Lusant, pit sergeants Josh Kelly and Lily Charcosi, lead field sergeant Kate Nayon, field sergeants J.J. Kelly, Charlie Erickson, Vlada Dedkova, Riley Mattis, Shannon Weil, Sri Gunachandran, Isabella Giansanti. The Marching Vikings were undefeated last fall and are the current 8-time state champions. Last year, they also completed the rare Triple Crown, winning the Atlantic Coast Championships in Hershey for marching band and in Wildwood for both indoor drumline and indoor color guard. We hope you enjoy our 2024 show, Elements. Drum major Madeline Siri, is your band ready?
Let's give another round of applause for the Eastern Marching Vikings.
Welcome back to a tight one here at McAleer Stadium as Vineland gets on the board first with a long drive. And then from there, it's been back and forth interceptions, ending up with Eastern popping a long touchdown pass in, missing the extra point. We're at 6-3. And we're wondering about Calderon if he's going to be coming back in, the freshman starting quarterback. But right now, Antoine Witt is in there, and there is confidence in Witt as he came in for that last play of Vineland offense, and they rolled him out to his left off the flat and tried to make something happen. So as Coach Guzman mentioned on Guzman's Gridiron on Underground Sports Philadelphia, that they have confidence in not just the two, but also Gala, who's like his brother last year and the year before, finding ways to get on that field and contribute. You know, as the three-headed quarterback room, and you're hearing that it's all still interchangeable. So Vineland has confidence that they can throw the ball. And watching warm-ups for the past few weeks, he certainly can. You know, Witt can do it. He throws a nice ball. But running the offense, getting your first licks here, you know, there's a little mop up or clean up for a minute when Calderon had the wind knocked out of him. Marciela, it's going to be an interesting half to see how Vineland attacks.
Vineland has a lot of things to kind of figure out, like you said, offensively. They will be starting off on defense, but they have to figure out what do they want this game to look like going down the stretch. They're a team that can run the ball. They're a team that can very clearly pass the ball. It's just about how you mix up each aspect of the game, how to get your playmakers and your athletes in space, giving them opportunities to make plays that we know they can make. And that just comes down to the play calling. It comes down to the execution of this offense. The defense has proven to be stout. Again, a couple miscommunications and mistakes, but nonetheless have been pretty strong, have held their own. Just too many opportunities that the Vikings were given off of 3 interceptions in the first half that gave them the opportunity to score and put them up by 3.
Yeah, there's been tough plays that we may be on those difficult, tough plays, maybe 1 for 3, you know, and you've got to make that big play. And I'm sure that's well within Vineland's capabilities here. But most importantly, starting out on that defense, 3 and out, keep them on their own side at best, make them punt it to you, get the ball back, and then we can start to grind again. You know, Eastern drove on for a quarter, was a little down in the dumps, had 3 or 4 interceptions there, and it's like you got to remind them of that, not the one that got through.
And again, for Eastern, Vineland has to find a way to try and cut back on the effectiveness of Vincent Rosa. He has 2 picks in the first half and a touchdown. He's just about done everything for the Vikings. You have to be able to suppress him and suppress this Vikings team. Don't give them momentum. We saw what they looked like without momentum. Time to cut it down to that again as they're going to look to set up shop here on offense as Vineland prepares to kick off here. Friday Night Lights, Vikings versus Fighting Clan, and we are set to kick it off. It'll be Joe Morello kicking it off here for the Fighting Clan, getting things going. The Vineland sideline getting pumped. The Viking student section getting pumped. Lining it up. Whistle waiting to be blown. And here we go. Second half action here at Eastern High School. Going to be brought in here by Max Cutler. He's going to run right up the middle, try to go to his right side. Has an open lane, but he's going to get brought down. Still going, stays on his feet, and gets all the way out to the Vikings' 48-yard line. And the Vikings, with momentum, will set up shop at midfield.
Great blocking on the inside by the Vikings. Not a hold, wasn't a hold at all, but you do just enough of a hold to break your attackers off stride, and that's exactly what happened in the middle. As they got a hold of Mutcherson and just gave him a tug real quick, get him off stride as he's trying to break down the make-a play.
Vineland's defense getting ready here to take on this Eastern offense. It is once again the senior quarterback, Logan Dawson, trying to rally his troops here as he's going to take the snap, hand it up the middle. It's going to be a good, modest run to the right side. A couple missed tackles, but Cutler is going to be brought down after about a 3-yard gain. Barrientos with the tackle for the Fighting Clan. Ball at the 49-yard line of Vineland.
Well, their outside edge, their tight end, when he's in there, and their tackles are really doing a good job pushing that pressure back behind the quarterback.
Dawson's going to hand it off here. Another run off to the other side, but blown up there. Gage Gallo, the first one there. Noah Cruz trailing behind him, and that'll be a stop for no gain. It'll be 3rd and about 7 for the Vikings. Early opportunity to get them off the field here for the defense.
Great job, Zincroft, turning that back in and then jumping back in on the tackle. And I've just been amazed at his play early this year.
Kersey lined up in the backfield to the right of Dawson. 3 receivers set to the left. Kersey's going to move that way. Looks like some pressure here coming from the Fighting Clan. They do bring one, thrown underneath, almost intercepted by Cruz, but broken up there, and that will bring up 4th down for the Vikings, 3 and out.
So with 4th and 6, Vineland holds to just 4 yards of offense, but that kick return is going to push them back in their own end after this punt. Let's hustle off. Let's hustle off. Come on. I think 80-pound defensive tackle should be staying in for the punt return with that kind of agility and strength.
Milivoy back deep here to punt it. It'll be Mark Mutcherson back deep with Xavion Diaz in front of him. He gets the punt off. It's going to go off to the left. Poison calls. It rolls out of bounds. And Vineland will set up shop deep in their own territory at just about the 15-yard line.
Well, held them, no points. And now it's always interesting to see, are you going to run that first series, mixing the run and pass? Going to try to establish either or? We're just going to keep mixing it up because it did look so good. So it is whipped back in. It did look so good the way they did that early, but
the wind beginning to pick up just a little bit here as the offense gets set up. It once again will be Antoine Witt in the backfield. He has a 3-receiver set to his left side. Clark offset to his right. Offense trying to create something here after 3 straight possessions of 3 straight turnovers. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Good spin move there by Clark. He's going to fight for some extra yardage. And about 2 yards there. As the tackle was made by the entire defensive line, according to the Vikings PA announcer.
Watching the side judge, and he's way up the field. He was going to talk to a coach, and I was like, oh, snap, we got 9 yards, because the guy was following him earlier.
So it will be 2nd and about 6 here for the Fighting Clan. Ball looks to be at about the 17-yard line. Once again, it is Antoine Witt in the game. Calderon went down with an injury late in the 2nd quarter. 3 receivers set to the right side. It's going to be a handoff to the left. Nothing going there. That's going to get stuffed instantly.
Before the play, you saw 14 creep up, who we think maybe originally number 8, a 6'3" tight end and defensive end. He creeps up, and they have the tackle covered on the outside shoulder, so there's nobody there to block him, and we run right into it with somebody with that length.
3rd and long here for the Fighting Clan. It is 10 yards to go here. Finally needing a big conversion here early on in this second half. 8:54 and counting here as Davis comes out of the huddle first. It'll be 2 receivers set to the right side. It'll be Mutcherson alone on the left. In the backfield is Omar Davis. His first touches possibly here in the second half. Witt's going to look to lock it up. He's going to throw downfield. It's a little underthrown and incomplete. Could have been intercepted. He had Xavion Diaz wide open on the sideline, just underthrown into double coverage, and that will bring the offense off the field and set up a 4th and 10 punt for the Fighting Clan.
Well, nothing doing in that one play was just really knocked them back out of it, where there was really nothing they can do.
Once again, it will be Mutcherson back deep to punt it here for the Fighting Clan. Tristan Cephas will be trying to reel this punt in from Mutcherson. Snaps back clean, has a clean ball. He's going to fake it. He's going to run upfield, and he gets absolutely nothing. Absolutely questionable play there by the Fighting Clan. Vikings have it deep in Vineland territory.
Well, not the intent. That ball was going to get blocked and hit before he could put his foot to it. Nothing he can do is pressure from the inside, makes him pull that down. And just a great defensive call to get your pressure up the middle.
There was just barely a lane, but that collapsed almost instantly. And now Vikings at the 10-yard line. Not much room for the defense to work with, but having to try and stand up and stand tall here very early on here in this second half, 3rd quarter action. There'll be 2 receivers to the near side here for the Vikings, and 1 offset back to the left and on to the right. Dawson going to line up in the shotgun once again, as he's done so often in this game. He's going to hand it off right up the middle, and that's going to be a good gain all the way down to almost the 2-yard line. And that is Jaden Kersey, who is in the backfield for the Vikings. 2nd and goal at the 3-yard line.
The Fanador a little slow to get up, but he's staying in. It just seems like Vineland's pressure on the outside is getting run under or stepped up from. In this situation, you got to really get up in them A-gaps here.
Dawson takes the snap, hands it off to Kersey, and he is going to get in for a touchdown. Vikings get on the board early here in the second half.
Well, we need 2 plays. And we gave up 2 big plays. We got to start getting them back.
Vineland's winless streak on the edge here early on in the second half. 12-3 the score, pending the PAT.
And they can certainly get back into this no matter who's at quarterback, but you would like the continuity of the lessons learned in the first half.
Once again, it will be Jalen Millivoy lining up here for the PAT. Snap is back, hold is good, and it is good. But there's going to be a flag on the play. Early indication is it may be on the Fighting Clan. And it will be on the Fighting Clan. Look to see what the Vikings do here. As I'd assume they'd want to bring out the offense for the 2-point conversion.
Well, you're going to be up 2 scores either way.
Some sponsors here for our second half.
You're going to be up 2 either way. I think I just take that point.
Also, we have Keller Williams for all your real estate needs, moving in, moving out. Better Rouge, all Eastern alumni.
So they're going to set up to re-kick. Not sure why you want to just decline it and take the points, but nonetheless, Millivoy's going to line up once again from a much shorter margin.
Watch the fake. That's the only thing that makes sense.
He does kick it once again, and the kick is good. 13-3 the score, 10-point lead here for the Vikings. Not sure why you don't just decline, but I guess Millivoy gets the reps.
I guess we couldn't hear it up here, but the whistle probably blew that one dead. That's the only thing that makes sense, that the offsides blew it dead, and they had to kick again, but they opted not to move back or move forward and do the regular PAT. Well, so that all makes sense when we work it out that way.
Vineland facing some of their first adversity here in this very early season here. Once again, Vineland 2-0 coming into this game. That streak on the line here, down by 10, with the backup quarterback Antoine Witt in the game for the Fighting Clan.
Yeah, and this is Vineland's first conference game of the year, and it's Vineland, Eastern, Pennsauken are probably the top 3 teams. So this is going to be big as Vineland comes in 2-0. No one else in the conference has a win. So you've got to find your way back in here and to be in position to control your own destiny.
Back deep will be Xavion Diaz, as well as Saquon Anderson. The Millivoy kicking off once again for the Vikings. Booming kick once again, but playable for the Fighting Clan. It will be Anderson with the ball. He's going to run right up the middle. He's going to break off a couple tacklers, somehow get to the outside, and will get tackled. But some good field position here for the offense as Antoine Witt comes out to command his troops here in the third quarter. 7:26 to go.
Well, we've got plenty of time, maybe a little more conservative approach, maybe a little more power football between the tackles. You know, they had that little chest pass, basketball pass pitch that's 1 for 2 today. Worked well once, didn't the other. I'm more like staying between the tackles here.
Still no status so far on Elijah Calderon, who went into the trainer's tent late in the second half. Wait to see if anything comes up of that here as the game progresses. Nonetheless, Antoine Witt in the game, 2 receivers set to each side. Charles Clark to his right. It's going to be Diaz in motion. Snaps back. Witt looking to his right. It's going to be a screen pass. Not much blocking there as he tries to fight into the middle of the field. Runs into his own blocker. And that will be about a gain of 3 there for the Fighting Clan offense.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, you know, you're as an offensive lineman when that's completed for it, as we have a player down for Eastern. You know, once it's thrown, we've got to get moving upfield. It's almost like a screen as he cuts back to the middle. And when the offensive line are standing in place, they're not providing picks, they're just taking up space. You've got to press up the field.
Down on the field for the Vikings, it is Vincent Rosa, as we stated early on. He did have the 2 interceptions in the first half and the only touchdown, not counting the Jaden Kersey one. So nonetheless here, Vineland trying to get everything set up here. Just a little bit of a timeout there for an injury. First play, moderate yardage, about 1 or 2. Looking to see how they open it up here and how much they trust Witt to run this offense. It'll be 2nd and 8 at the 36-yard line. Once again, 2 receivers to each side. Diaz goes in motion from left to right. Snap back to Witt. He's going to hand it off. It's going to be a run up the middle and stuffed instantly. That is the newly tapped in running back, Omar Davis. So he gets just about 1 yard, and it'll be 3rd and long here for the Fighting Clan.
Yeah, when it's working, it looks good, the mix. But when it's not, it's confusing to find what are we doing well, what are we struggling with, where do we attack. Now, to complicate that, you have a new quarterback in. They're going to run mostly the same plays, but there's different skill sets to everybody. And to try to acclimate when you're almost getting there, and now you've got a new signal caller, you've got to find what he's comfortable getting done right now.
Davis still in the backfield, as that is going to be an offsides on the defense. He pushed Zach Davis all the way into the quarterback's lap, but will get the yardage and make it a 3rd and manageable. Great discipline there by the Fighting Clan.
Now, Zach Davis, he's a sophomore or a junior. I see what's on there, but originally I was told sophomore. I'm reading junior there. I wasn't sure. Do you remember? Junior?
He is a junior.
Okay.
He is a junior. So I remember having him as a sophomore last
That's
year.
what I figured.
Again, know him just as much as I can, but definitely a junior coming this season, and it's good to know that we'll have him back as a senior next year as a spark plug. Similar formation here as the others here for the Fighting Clan. Witt in the pistol. So move up Omar Davis to his left side. Diaz in motion. Snap. Handoff to Davis. And it will be stopped for about no gain, making it a 4th and 2.
Got to figure Vineland's going to try to chug through that. If that would have been a fake there and a pull, you know, everything was there. But they blitzed right into that topside C gap where the ball was going. So 4th and 1 with 5 minutes to go here in the 3rd. Vineland needs to keep this drive moving.
Very crucial moment here. And it is early in the second half, but if you're looking at this game, Vineland needs this 4th and 1 here.
You think Eastern's undisciplined enough to jump again?
I don't know. I'd be shocked, but they might go back to the well. I'm assuming Eastern's going to try and bring pressure here on the 4th and 1 call. 2 receiver set. Charles Clark checking back in for the Fighting Clan. Oof. It is going to be a pass. Witt's going to roll out to his left. Can't find anybody. Throw it to the sideline, and it is high of Ryan Carter, and that will bring out the defense. Vineland not going with the run there. Tried to roll Witt out once again to his left. Tried to create a play. Nothing going there, and that'll bring back the defense of the Fighting Clan.
Well, great show of confidence in the quarterback, but 4th and 1, like when you're a lineman or you're Omar back there, or even Robert, like you know what you need, and it kind of builds confidence in that line and those running backs where you put it right on their shoulders. A lot of times at every level of football, we'll see a coach that's really trying to set a tone, and they'll come out after half and just say, all we're doing is running the ball until we get in the end zone, you know, or all we're doing is this or that. And it's kind of been nice just to see what we can get on the ground.
Dawson lining up in the pistol here for Eastern. It's going to be a handoff blown up instantly. Great play there by the defense of the Fighting Clan.
I believe that's Aiden Zinkcraft, who had a number change from 27 earlier in the year. I believe they put him in 54. He was like a player of the game the first week on both sides of the ball. Just really flashed a lot.
So it'll be 2nd and 11 here for the Vikings. Dawson with 2 receivers to his left. Has a wing lined up to his right. That wing is going to lead block here. A run right up the 6 hole, or pardon me, the 5. And it will be for a solid gain here, but that'll bring up 3rd and just about 8.
Sounded like Ruben Amaro. Everything is. He just puts it through that 6 hole as they're in a little bit of a shift.
I always remember even side is on the right, odd side's to the left. Look more like a 15 power there. It'll be the wing lining up on the right side once again. It'll be Max Cutler in the backfield. He's going to take the handoff. He's going to run right up the field, break through a couple tacklers. And it looks like he's going to be just short of a 1st down here. It's going to bring up 4th and 1. Look to see what the Vikings do here.
Zinkcraft again diving in at an ankle, but just not able to get the full tackle.
It'll bring out Donnie St. Jean and put in Zach Davis. Looks like the Vikings may go jumbo set. Clock's running. A little bit of miscommunication here by the Vikings.
Well, they had plenty of time because they just made the ball ready for play. He just wound it after about 10 seconds of everybody standing around. So
it'll be Jaden Kersey in the backfield here with Dawson with a wing to the left side. That is, I believe, Zach Wood, the junior. It's going to be a handoff up the gut. It's going to be 1st down yardage and a whole lot more. They bring the ball down to just about the 20 of the Fighting Clan.
Well, that defensive line didn't win that battle. As you see, defensive linemen's back of their jerseys, those shoulders are squared to the line, and we're sliding laterally, not in pursuit lanes when something's coming up the middle. We've got to slide. Even if you don't get there, you take away that running space.
Eastern Vikings looking to go a little bit of tempo here. They've been like this all game as Vineland tries to set up on their side of the field. Snap back to Dawson. A little bit of a blown up play. He's going to go to his left and get tackled in the backfield. A little bit of miscommunication there by Eastern. There's a player down near the end zone of the Vikings. And it is Zach Davis.
Talk about getting put on skates. That ball snapped at the 20.
Davis driven almost all the way back to the 5.
Well, when he came in, he had that limp to him.
And he still has it. Again, it's your offensive guy. I kind of want to see him getting more reps on offense when you have some guys that can go one way on defense. Nonetheless, Dawson lining up with that wing to his left. 2 receivers to his right. It's going to be a handoff to the right side. Good yardage here.
Well, back to that last one. And when you come in with a little bit of a limp, the reason you're back that far is you can't plant your foot and hold up to that double team, which is a real disadvantage.
The run there by Caden Ruba. It's going to be 3rd and 8 here at about the 20 of the Fighting Clan. Easily in field goal range. But look to see how Eastern tries to be aggressive here. Still up 13-3 with 50 seconds and counting in the 3rd quarter. 2 receivers set to the right side. Still Ruba in the backfield with Dawson. Finally looking to bring some pressure here off the edge. It's going to be a fake handoff. Pump fake. Getting into the backfield. Thrown. It is completed, but a great tackle there as a flag flies in from the far side and near side of the field near the end of the play.
I didn't see anything on the near side. It was a good tackle. I didn't see any offensive players doing anything silly. Maybe we got a lineman waddling downfield a little too far is the only thing I could think of. And I was a lineman, so I'm in the club. I could say waddle.
Yes, we both have those rights. We await the call here from the white hat. The flag did get thrown from the very far side. It was during the play. I believe the one on the right was a little later.
Oh, you don't think it was confirming flags? Okay. A lot of make sure. Oh, I saw it too, but
that's going to back up.
Oof.
There was 2 flags on Eastern. The first penalty was declined. Second one accepted. That's going to drive them back a considerable margin here. And it's going to make it 3rd and about a country mile all the way to West Virginia.
From the 35-yard line,
25 seconds and counting here in this third quarter. Vineland still down 13-3. Ruba set to the left side of Dawson. Looking for a call here from the sideline. Vineland's defense showing a little bit of pressure here. Dawson takes the snap. He's going to fake the handoff, and he's going to go to his left. Beautiful block on the outside, but an even better tackle by what looks to be Saquon Anderson on the far side.
Wow, an outstanding trap by Mbuto Cuellar. He pulled
off the edge.
Caught much.
Oh, man. Oof. As a lineman, you almost have your eyes blow up when you see that the defender doesn't even see you anywhere close. And it was a great play call there by Eastern, but a good tackle on the outside. That will bring an end to this third quarter. Vineland still down 13-3, looking for some spark here, down by 2 possessions here as we get ready for fourth quarter action.
I'm sure everywhere he sends his tape in the future, and that one will be on there.
Vineland defense standing tall, forcing what I believe will be a field goal. And it would be big if Vineland finds a way to make sure Eastern does not convert here late in this game. 1 quarter to go, 2 possessions here that Vineland has to come back from. Once again, adversity they have not seen yet this season. This will show that this is the team that we're going to see go throughout this season. These next couple drives by the offense, possessions by the defense will show what this team's made of in the good times and the hard times.
It looks like they're setting up to attempt a 49-yard field goal.
Well, let's see how this pans out. That's a lot of faith in your defense. If you're the Eastern Vikings, that will put a man back deep. That is Saquon Anderson standing on the eye of Vikings.
See that, you hide by the post. Forget who it was. That was good.
So once again, it will be Jalen Millivoy, the senior, trying to make a big play here.
No. All right, Eastern
It'll be
timeout.
a timeout by Eastern. Maybe some second thoughts there from the coaching staff. Second timeout used.
I saw some of the Vineland players talking to the sideline coaches, and I was like, no, not us now.
No, please. So not sure what the call is going to be here from Eastern. Once again, Vineland does have Saquon back deep if they do look to do it. But I would assume if you're calling a timeout, you're looking to fake. You don't call a timeout for fun, but it's 4th and a country mile. I wouldn't be advised to do so. But as he brings the kicking tee off the field, I don't believe they're going to be kicking the field goal.
And you know what the other thing is? It's hard to draw a penalty or have options on a play or what play you're going to do if you're running a fake. So at this point in time, they may be better off with the offense as a defensive penalty keeps them alive or gives them a first, depending on the penalty, as compared to that kick it. And I guess the other thing is Vineland's offense hasn't done much, and maybe you don't want to get this baby blocked.
Just going off of body language here, I do believe they're going to have Jalen Millivoy attempt a 49-yard field goal.
Oh, it's punt time.
Oh, they will bring out the punt unit. Not much
most
faith
of the same guys.
I got a little worried there. I was like, maybe they do try it, but it will be a punt here.
Now watch fake.
Millivoy lined up at the 45-yard line with Mutcherson back deep. A very prevent type of punt defense here. As Mutcherson's going to try and reel that one in. He does so on the near sideline and gets blown up. There's a little bit of a late hit, but no call made there, and Vineland will have to set up shop at the 8-yard line.
Well, if he doesn't catch it, they're probably setting up at the 2. So good job coming out with that, but the wash of our player coming by gave him nowhere to go.
He was forced to the near boundary, had nowhere to go, and now this Vineland offense will have to go pretty far to try and get them back in this game.
Well, an outstanding punt. Little pooch punt, and it does the job.
Vineland looking to go 94 yards here to score their first touchdown of the game. Antoine Witt lined up in the backfield. We'll have Charles Clark to his right, 3 receivers set to his left, and 1 receiver, which is Mutcherson, to his right. Snap back to Witt, bobbles the snap. He's gonna run to his right, a little bit of broken play. Somehow gets out of that tackle, and he will get a gain of 5. Way to kind of make something happen there for Witt, but once again, have to be mindful of those low snaps.
Yeah, breaks a tackle, otherwise he's down at the 4-yard line and turns it into something decent. But it looked like after he broke it, he was still looking for something instead of just getting what he could.
Something my mom always says, and I'll give her a shout out now. She always said, and even when I played center, the only time that you have a bad snap is because you're getting beat. So now we kind of have to look inside, see what the matchup is for Davis, who may be struggling, more focus on the block than on the snap. It'll be a similar formation once again, 3 to the right, to the left, 1 to the right. Witt is going to bring Temple in motion. It's going to be a handoff to Clark, trying to find something, but shedding a block there for Eastern is Vincent Rosa, who's been all over the field today. Vineland couldn't seem to get that block. It was Jafet Davelli who got beat inside.
Yeah, it looked like the line was slanting towards the wide side of the field, which made that hole almost a gap and a half, close to 2 back on the other side, and just not enough time to step back into it.
Rosa, who was injured earlier on in this second half, looks to be doing perfectly fine now as he makes a good play there. It was a one-on-one in the hole, and it was a good play by him. Vineland now in a 3rd and 6 situation on their own 12, having to convert here, down by 2 possessions with 10:50 to go in the 4th quarter. 2 receivers set to each side. Witt's going to take the snap. It's going to be pulled to the opposite side. Witt's rolling to his left, throws in the middle of the field, and it is intercepted. Once again, 4th interception for the Vikings. And it is one that I'm sure Antoine Witt will want back in a heartbeat. Every QB everyone just wants to get it back, but that one especially in such a big situation. Once again, rolling to his offside, throws it across his body, which is a cardinal sin in the QB world, into the middle of the field and forces a turnover.
I understand the play call because they've been sending a lot of pressure with their linebackers. This time they kind of sit and they just clog up the passing area.
4th interception of the game, 4th total turnover for the Fighting Clan, all coming out of the hands of the quarterbacks. 2 receivers set to the left of Dawson. He's going to hand it off up the middle here. It's going to be stuffed up there by Donnie St. Jean. Max Cutler taking the rush there for about a gain of 1.
Boy, look at the field position that Eastern has started with these last 2 drives. You got in the red zone and you got goal to go on the previous.
Vineland almost handing offensive opportunities to the Vikings here in this second half. Dawson's going to hand it off once again up the middle, and a missed tackle right in the middle of the field. Almost bounces it to the left side. That will give them another good gain, and that will make it 3rd and very short possible inches.
Well, this defensive line, they're trying to get off the ball and make a play, but what they're doing is they're getting about 2 or 3 yards deep in the backfield, which then allows the running back a lane to go. I mean, the old adage is heel deep, shoulder square, find the football and slide. And instead, outsides are getting washed up, and the inside, they're just getting up the field so far that this little running back can find his spots in the middle.
Cutler's going to take the handoff once again, bounce to the right side, but he's going to get met by Noah Cruz, trying to keep him behind the line. And they do so. It was 3rd and inches, now creating a 4th and 4. Offense looks like it may be staying out there to try and convert deep in Vineland territory.
So being up 10 puts you at 13 if you make a field goal. But you're already up 2 scores. 13 is still 2 scores.
So they will be bringing out the field goal unit once again. It'll be Millivoy lining it up.
But if you got a strong light like that, maybe you get this and you hope one more time to get another one.
About a 23-yard field goal. Snap back, kick is up. It is low and it's no good. Vineland catching a break there. Didn't get a good boot off it, did Milivoy. And that will bring out the offense in very similar territory that they finished off with in their last drive.
Well, they dodge a bullet there, but they do lose time off the clock as we're down to 8:23. And Vineland has to score twice.
Vineland has a lot of work to do in very short time. And it's all in the hands of the backup quarterback, Antoine Witt, who's getting his first reps of this young season after Calderon went down late in the second, has not entered or re-entered this game since. Defense standing tall, helping this offense out. Let's see how they can help their defense.
You know, I just stick 3 receivers on one side. Doesn't matter which one we leave on the other, and just man them up. Take a pop.
Temple going in motion behind the quarterback. Handoff's going to be to Clark, who's going to run right up the middle. He's going to get about 6 and make it 2nd and 4.
Yeah, they've done a good job on Clark tonight. You know, not really giving him a free look at where he wants to go. There's pressure early. This was one of the better ones where he's able to get through the line and then try to get somewhere. Before that, he's running into people in the backfield or right at the line with really nowhere to go. And you can see he's frustrated, as he should be, because the line was so stout early on that first drive. And not that they're not trying and playing well, but changes have been made, and they've come up and said, you know what, we've got to send an extra guy through the gut. Just take up that space, and one guy takes the run game away.
Davis in the backfield now for the Fighting Clan. Going to hand off to him. Ball's going to be fumbled, and it will be Vikings ball. Miscommunication between the quarterback and running back. Ball hits the ground, and it is the 5th turnover. And once again, out of the hands of a quarterback, the Fighting Clan give the ball right back. 7:22 to go. And I believe the chances of a win coming for the Fighting Clan dwindling very low.
Yeah, and now at the end of the first half, I'm complaining, just tackle the guy. Just play the receiver. Don't go for the flash play. Well, now you're pretty much at that point. And not because of the score, but because your offense hasn't got anything going. So it's hard to think, all right, the next 10 plays, everything's going to work.
3rd straight possession for the Vikings. That start inside the Vineland 25-yard line. Dawson's going to take the snap, hand it off up the middle. He's going to be stuffed up there. First man there, I believe, was Noah Cruz. It was Jaden Kersey with the carry, one of the 3-headed running backs of this monster Vikings backfield. Time slowly ticking away here, just hitting the 7-minute mark and running. 2nd and 8 here for the Vikings deep in Vineland territory.
The Vikings trying to avenge those 2 losses by a total of 3 points. Primed and in position and in no hurry to snap this one.
Dawson takes the snap, hands it off to Kersey. Once again, he's going to go to his right side, try to get upfield, and he will be met there by 2 Fighting Clan defenders. That'll make it 3rd and long here, just about 3rd and 8 or 9.
We have all been here before. It's almost exactly this last drive.
Vineland's defense once again proving why they are some of the best in South Jersey and possibly the best in the conference. It's just they've been on the field so often, and the offense just can't seem to capitalize with the 5 turnovers.
Last 3 possessions, as you mentioned, further starting position was at our own 25.
3 receivers set to the left for Dawson. He's going to take the snap. He's going to look left. Pressure coming up the middle. The defender runs right past Dawson. He tries to line up, throw downfield, and it's dropped in the end zone. It would have been a touchdown, but there is a flag on the field, and the indication may be holding on the Vikings.
Yeah, great pressure, trying to blitz up in the middle and bottled up. But as he pulls away, he ends up drawing the call. I believe it was Mason Afanador. Killer penalty.
That'll back the Vikings up past their own 25 as Gage Gallo is taken out of the game. It'll be Barrientos checking in.
All right, so back to the 30.
this is the furthest from the end zone the Vikings have had to have an offensive possession here in this second half, barring the initial kickoff that started this second half.
Third and 19, and they take a timeout with 5:50 on the clock.
And we will take this time to once again thank you for joining us here on the Vineland Public Schools broadcast, your home for all things Fighting Clan athletics and all things newsworthy in the Vineland Public Schools district. Once again, my name is Marcino. Hello with my good partner, Rich Scarpa. Missing our good partner, Kyle KB Bennett, who is off for this week. Again, our amazing producer, Doug Diola, and our amazing men and women behind the cameras making everything happen for you guys to enjoy. Once again, we thank you for tuning in with us. Thank you for joining us here. Friday Night Lights, Eastern Vikings, Vineland Fighting Clan, late here in this fourth quarter.
And that's William Miller on graphics. Genevieve Carter on a camera. Artsine Mizuki on the camera. And Kiara Landicini. Scope Graphics, Madison Powers. Thank you all, and as always, thank you, Doug. And let's see if we got anything left here for the Vikings.
3rd and 18 here, 5:50 to go. Fighting Clan looking to get a big stop here and force yet another opportunity for no scoring from the Vikings. 2 receivers set to the left. That's going to be a man in motion. Dawson dropping back. Pocket collapses. He's going to run right upfield. He's going to throw, and it is just short of the end zone. But it looked like he got his hands underneath of it.
Oh, he did. That skipped. I put my...
Vikings will set up shop now inside of Vineland's 5-yard line. The defense stood so tall for so long, and a chink in the armor puts the Vikings inside the 5.
Well, if he got underneath that, that's one heck of a catch.
Very beautiful catch, if he did. We will have to go back and check. But from inside the 5, it's almost a weird eye formation. Running up the gut is Kersey. He's going to get stopped there by Mason Afanet, pardon me, it's Kersey. Stopped at about the 2 or 3 yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and goal with 5 minutes and counting.
Boy, time is just flying off the clock, that big conversion.
As the student section of the Vikings waving their flashlights and our marching band doing much of the same. It'll be a jumbo package, 3-man backfield borderline wishbone for the Vikings. Almost 2 hands down for each lineman. It's going to be a hand up to Kersey up the middle, and he will score. Touchdown, Eastern Vikings. And that just about puts the pin in the Fighting Clan here on Friday night.
Wow, talk about a conversion on that pass play. And you're looking to get the ball right back. Still have a lot of work to do, but then to get that score against you. You know what happens, I used to play nose guard, and I was only allowed to get a sack if the quarterback rolled or if I pushed the center into the quarterback. And at the end, just taking a route off that nose opened up the step up and the dump off.
Milivoy drains that PAT, and that will put the Vikings up, not 20-3 here with 4:30 to go. Fighting Clan just into that losing column, just minutes away.
Yeah, coming in, as I mentioned, Vineland 6-2 in the last 8. 2-0 this year. Coach Guzman evened up at 7-7 as a head coach, and not what we were looking for, but you know what? It happens. There's a lot of season, a lot to be learned. Not our sharpest game defensively, not our most rhythmic offensively. And it doesn't help that your starting quarterback, who's taken almost every snap of the year, goes out in the first half. And it's just time. And we saw timing with a fumble, you know, on a handoff to Omar. And it happens. You know, you don't have all those reps with the ones like the original quarterback Calderon does, and just the continuity not there for the offense this half.
Like we stated, for most of the second half, this is the most early rendition of adversity we're seeing now for the Fighting Clan. some late substitutions here for the return team. This is the first time they'll face adversity this season, lining up for possibly their first loss of the season with 4:30 to go, down by 17. It'll be interesting to see how they finish this game, show some pride. It's going to be kicked back deep, going towards the end zone, but playable for Diaz. He's going to let it take a hop, and it's going to stay there, but Mutcherson's going to pick it up, try and find an opening. He's going to go to his left, cut up field, and that'll bring the ball down to about the 16-yard line as there were 3 men back deep. Xavion Diaz was hoping it would roll. It clearly, from our point of view, looked like it was going to be short of the end zone. They let it roll. Mutcherson has to pick it up, and once again, terrible field position for the Fighting Clan. Again, situation. The offense hasn't moved the ball. You know, we would want to return a punt when given the opportunity. You know, the kickoffs, kickoffs mostly have been in the end zone. The one punt was a coffin corner. We want that special teams play to try to make something happen, and we want to be aggressive to get to it. Vineland almost playing for pride here with 4:21 to go, down by 17. 2 receivers set to each side for Antoine Witt, the backup quarterback who came in for the injured aforementioned Calderon. Snap back to Witt. He's looking to his left, goes back to his right, scrambles, tries to get out of the pocket. Pocket slowly collapsing, throws it downfield, out of bounds, and incomplete. Witt not being able to get settled in the pocket so far early on in his start, or pardon me, his stepping in for the starter, and still looks very uncomfortable in the backfield. Yeah, even start him with the exchange. I mean, you got to keep your eyes on it, but like he's down low, below his knees. Once again, all 5 turnovers in way of some type of quarterback. Each one has come out of the hands of a quarterback. 3 receivers set to the right here. The man in the slot on the left. Witt takes a snap. He's looking to his right. He's going to throw to his right way downfield, and it's going to be caught here at the 45-yard line of Rayon Carter. Beautiful pass there by Witt to throw in between the safety and the corner. Finds him right on the Vineland sideline, and the biggest play of this second half comes in way of 4 minutes left in the 4th. Some confidence there for Witt as Vineland goes tempo. Snap back to Witt. He's going to look back to his right. He's going to roll that way, and he's going to run upfield and be escorted out of bounds by a Viking. Yeah, Eastern a little bit content and sitting back, just sending 3 right now. Witt having nothing but time in the backfield, clearly likes to roll out. And this is the first time we've seen him not roll out to his weak-armed side. 3:32 and counting here as the Fighting Clan are down by 17, 2nd and 9 at the 49-yard line. Yeah, tough game for the Fighting Clan. I mean, school just started. Everybody's back. You're 2-0. And then you have a pretty flat game tonight. 3 receivers set to the left side here for Witt as Clark sets up offset to his right side at Fanador by himself all the way to the right. Snap back, looking to his left, he's going to throw underneath. Almost intercepted as that's going to hit the ground, incomplete. You know, you have a linebacker pulled out for a safety now. There's enough room for Clark to get through the middle for about 15 or 20. It may not be a bad idea to take a shot at that. You know, you want to get it deep, you want to get it out, but in reality, there's not enough time. You know, in broadcasting, you never say it's over till it's over, but there's really not enough time. So let's just get some yards under Clark, get some yards under this line, especially, well, they're a little different now. They have both linebackers in the middle. Last time it was just one. Snap back to Witt. He rolls to his left side. Fanador, the only receiver onto that side, throws his way, but just overthrows him. Like you said, Rich, we don't say a game's over too early, but the best way to say it is the fat lady may not be singing, but she sure is tuning one up.
The rest of the song says, it's gonna take a miracle to change the way I feel. I almost did the wrong song there. I had the wrong melody at the first, but I recovered well.
Great save.
Thank you.
4th and 9 here for the Fighting Clan, 2:50.
Well, you had a good one earlier when you were talking about from the 25 or close. I was like, yes, you hit it. You hit it. I thought you were going to hit the red zone, and I was like, daggone, he pulled that back.
Not yet.
He pulled that back.
Got a little bit under my belt as Witt's going to take the snap back. He's going to start looking to his left. Pocket begins to collapse. So in the middle of the field, and is intercepted. The 6th turnover of the game, and still all in way of quarterback play. 6 turnovers, the name of today's game. Vineland just could not get, had a beautiful first drive, and almost textbook. That's how you set the tone kind of drive.
Do you happen to know what a mush is?
A mush?
Yeah. So a mush is like things are going great, and then your one buddy comes in and bad things happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like while you were behind me outside the fence looking for a way in, we were rolling.
The second I got here, the team decided, Coach Marsh is here again. They don't need to see nothing good.
It's a mush warning. It's just a mush warning.
Hopefully the next time I'm in the booth with you, we have a better result. But this has been a pretty rough one for the fans at home. 6 turnovers for the quarterbacks of this game, whether it be an interception or a missed handoff, as this run just continues to go, bulldozing through the Vineland defense.
Okay, right there again. Situational football. There's not enough time to possess the ball to get back into this. If you scored 2 touchdowns with 2 two-point conversions, that's 16. Plus the 3 is 19. You're still a point short. You need 3 possessions. It's impossible. So we tackle the guy. We don't give him 12 to 20 extra yards trying to strip him.
So what I'm hearing is the fat lady's on verse 3. Dawson in the backfield still for the Vikings. 2 receivers set to his left side as he just waits for the clock to slowly dwindle, waiting for the hands of the referee, as that's going to be handoff to the left side. Nothing but green grass. Wasn't even touched until about 5-6 yards down the field. And that will be a first down for Eastern as the time continues to go down on the clock, 1:38 and counting.
Good play by Diaz there. As you see, he's fallen to the ground. Diaz doesn't take a shot on him. That he was so low to the ground. You probably could have got there in time, but you're risking yourself injury and a flag on it, and it makes the business decision, which was the right one. Now make this a 2-point game. You whack the heck out of them.
Dawson surveys the defense, watching the clock dwindle down. As he gets set, he's going to take the snap, hand off up the middle once again. And 2 Fighting Clan defenders in there to make the play, Noah Cruz and Aiden Barriento.
So with the situation like it is, the clock is just going to keep on running. And looks like it'll be one kneel down, and that should be it for this one.
Victory formation here for the Eastern Vikings. 20-3 the score. Dawson takes the snap, takes the knee, and that will be the ball game. Final score, Eastern Vikings 20, Vineland Fighting Clan 3. The tale of today's game, 6 turnovers all in way of the quarterback. Vineland just couldn't help themselves, overhurting themselves, costing them their first loss of the season as they go from 2-0 to 2-1.
Well, you know what you do with something like this? Forget about it. Like the coaches need to, and the players need to get together and they'll watch and try to clean some of this up. But as a broadcaster, I'm going to just stick this in the back of my head and try to remind myself we got a strange game next week. It's a Thursday, which doesn't happen usually except Thanksgiving and the beginning of this year for some strange reason. So we'll be Thursday night, a little bit earlier this week, and another tough one.
Once again, final score here at Eastern High School, 20-3 in way of the Eastern Vikings. Once again, my name is Marcelino with my good partner, Rich Scarpa. Once again, shout out to our camera crew and our amazing producer, Doug Diola. Once again, we thank you for joining us here on the Vineland Public Schools broadcast. Stay tuned for men and women's soccer this week, as well as Thursday night football at Pennsauken for the Fighting Clan, looking to bounce back from a deflating loss here at Eastern. Once again, we thank you for joining us, and as always, let's go Fighting Clan.